Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome to First Contact Radio. I am back. I was gone for a couple of days, and now I've returned. All right, let's get to it today. Let's look at our weather, cosmic weather situation. Today we're at the 13th. So we see that there was a changing of the guard between signs. We went from Pisces to Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, back at the start. 1:39 a.m. is when that transition occurred. So we are in the sign of Aries. Aries is a fire sign. Aries is all about ideas. Aries is the pioneer. The tarot card of Aries would be the card of the Emperor, he who sets in order. So it's the one who's setting things in order. Okay, organizing, very important for the Aries. Now what we have here is a moon sign, Aries, square against, right here, Venus. That means the leadership ability, that pioneering creative ideas energy comes up against a block, a square with Venus, love, and imagination. So therefore we're challenged to use our imagination and the way we use our ideas, maybe even look at our ideas as ways that we can help others and show others something very important. Okay, so we need to pay attention as we get into the afternoon with this, and then later this evening, Pluto, which is a transformative energy, is at square with Aries. So again, we just need to learn the lesson that will be placed before us, because there is a lot of transformation at hand. The sun sign is still in Scorpio, where it will be for just a short while longer till next week, and then it's going to make the transition to the next phase, the next stage, which would be Sagittarius. But we still got a little bit of time still left in Scorpio. Going over to our moon phase, we're 84% of the way full, making our way up to the new moon. The full moon, excuse me. Mayan Oracle, we are starting a brand new wave spell. This is the wave spell of the Wizard. The Wizard is all about timelessness, that life is a timeless experience, and that as we understand the timelessness of life, we begin to understand a little bit more of how it all works. When we look at the symbols for today surrounding it, we have the serpent, which is the like-minded energy, that's challenge, life force energy, survival instinct. We have the seed, planting new ideas, that's our challenge for today. And the hand of accomplishment is our hidden power. So today we have the Wizard, guided by the Wizard, which is the magnetic wizard. So magnetic wizard guided by the Wizard. And the phrase for today is, I unify in order to enchant, attracting receptivity. I seal the output of timelessness with the magnetic tone of purpose. I am guided by my own power doubled. If we go over to spaceweather.com, solar wind is currently at 379.9 kilometers per second. Planetary K index at the moment is quiet. Coronal holes, we see nice good sized coronal hole there opening up. We'll be hit with wind from that sometime later this week. Then we go to our M-class flare possibility, 60% for an M, 30 for an X, and geomagnetic storm activity is up there a little bit, 30% minor. The high latitudes, mid latitudes, 20%, you're going to have some activity. Just give you a little look here. This is comet ISON. This is what it looks like at the moment. It's coming in. You can see it sprouted a couple tails. It says one tail is an ion tail, the other is a dust tail. And here's another look at, these are 4 different comets that are out there. Said they're coming in from the east. We have Comet Linear, Comet ISON, Comet Enki, and Comet Lovejoy. So all four are visible in binoculars or backyard telescopes. They said these are getting all the said Comet ISON is getting all the press, but it's not even the brightest comet in its own patch of the sky. There would be Comet Lovejoy, one of the four other comets now rising in the east. Okay? Let's go over for a little bit more insight on what's going on with the weather. This is Suspicious Observers Report for today.
Good morning, folks. Starting with the first X-ray image of Comet ISON here. It's on the CIOC page. Latest K image on brucegary.net is terrific, but shows no comma structure. K's telescope is the biggest of the website trio at 32 inches. Ice is supposed to be returning up north, but now the Arctic is unable to gain anything at all. It's partially related to Alaska's record hottest October, now finally influencing the sea ice charts, and also reminding me that October's State of the Climate report is out for the U.S. Gotta check those links when they're posted. Now, October as a whole was colder than average for the continental U.S. While parts of the Northeast were at or even above average, they were way, way below out to the west. November's already shifted that with heat waves on the west coast and cold to the east. I also recommend checking out the deviations from precip norms. Kicking it to the boys, got one in event mode near New Zealand. I'm guessing that data is an error, but any Kiwis who happen to catch sight of a 70-foot wave, please let me know. Sticking right there for perspective, a southern clockwise low. Remember, we're switched in the south, but storms still follow the leading east convergence. Up north, lows spin counterclockwise like here in the Mediterranean. This one's played a rough role here for a while now. To the north, we see the next low ready to crest into the UK. High pressure is the name of the game in the US, blocking precipitation from that area while influencing the leading line on the cresting low that just came ashore and makes snow and rain out west today. We are now a full week without a gamma ray burst on Sonoma. 3 days since the last X flare and nearly 2 since an M flare. While the solar shutdown expressed itself once more, the sunspots look ready to challenge that standard. I see multiple Delta candidates, and beyond that, Zurich Class F region with complex morphology, complemented up north by an umbra of phenomenal size, and with backside development. I'm in wait-and-see mode. Solar wind density and speed have been dropping consistently. The regained smooth curves on the sensitive metrics show stability is returning to our magnetic shield. Not so on our star. Umbral and coronal fields added again all over the place. Here's what that looked like diagnosing the solar wind speed from the coronal holes. You can see the northern magnetics have taken the top spot back from the south and are strengthening still. Beyond that, the coronal holes directly facing Earth today. Yesterday we saw the 6.6 in Russia. This morning we see another shake not far away. USGS took the lowest of the readings, but RSOE has it as a 6.1. The Atlantic Ocean rumbling with a sidebar in Greece moved their party way, way south last night while I slept. The only CME of significance yesterday is heading right at Comet ISON. I see almost no way it misses her tomorrow. Shots of our star to close, eyes open. No fear, it's 6:15 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's the news. Be safe, everyone.
All right. Very good. All right. The story I want to get to here today, it's a video link to a video by Dutchsinse. And you might recall Dutchsinse. We play his clips on the show from time to time. Dutchsinse spends a lot of time really analyzing the weather, and more than just analyzing the weather, analyzing the patterns within the weather, and in that he's discovered that there are these patterns and frequencies that are related to HAARP. He didn't come up with these terms. This was something that he learned during his course of study of those who came before him, but he has gotten very good at looking at patterns and picking out these HAARP signatures, squares, circles, triangles, and other things. So and a lot of times he'll have videos and information after there are major events, earthquakes, typhoons, hurricanes, things of this nature, pointing out how these events are possibly man-made, because he will show you the signature pattern that took place during the course of this event. Well, after the last typhoon that just hit in the Philippines, same thing. He put out another video. Well, after the video, a Dr. Mahar Lagmay, he came on in response to his video. And this video itself is an hour and 16 minutes long, and it goes back and forth where you hear Dutchsinse's analysis. And then you hear Dr. LeMay. This was on ABS-CBN News. You hear him giving his response, trying to debunk. And then Dutchsinse comes on and he gives some more information, and then you hear the doctor come on trying to debunk it. As you listen to this video, I'm going to play just a small portion of it today, but I'm going to ask you to listen to the whole thing. What you will hear over and over is that Dutchsinse backs up everything he has to say with credible information, credible research. And this Dr. Mahar Lagmay just paints himself to be someone who's completely uninformed about what's going on in the government, what's going on with the weather. So as you listen to the video and you get a chance to hear him, you'll certainly hear that the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So he's either covering something up by lying, or he's completely unaware, in which case he shouldn't be out there spouting any information as a doctor because he's absolutely clueless. So listen to this. You're going to find some really great information, and as always, Dutchsinse has certainly, got this one pretty good. So check it out. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Dutchsinse here. 8:42 p.m. Central Time on Monday, November 11th, 2013. And I've got you over here on my Facebook page, and I've been going through a series of strange events lately, guys. Let's just get right into it. I've been having to issue a response now to the Philippines news agency, who ran a full story on me and a video that I put out on my YouTube channel. And this is on November 8th. I had put out a video showing a microwave pulse that we traced back to the formation of Typhoon Haiyan, also known as Yolanda. And that's the Philippines typhoon that caused so much damage, and so many people have been hurt in this storm. And I'd put this video out on the 8th, tracing it back. Now that was as the storm was hitting, and we didn't know how much damage was currently taking place in the area, but it's just significant amount of damage has happened. Now, on the morning news in the Philippines, they issued a response debunking me, quote unquote, in the video, and they raised several important questions and say several incorrect things about me personally that I'd like to correct, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. Overall, I guess this video is probably going to be an hour long, because first we're going to have to listen to everything they say, and then I'm going to respond to each point that he makes and provide the proof that he says I don't provide in my video, which I do provide in the video. Directly below the video is a full description with all the links backing up everything I'm talking about, the science, Michio Kaku talking about it on ABC News, Weather Channel covering it, U.S. Navy, CNN. We've got the History Channel. We've got multiple documentaries on the subject. I've got peer-reviewed scientific papers, experiments done in the laboratory, all provided down below the video. Now, he says there's no information provided on past storms either, and I fully provided Sandy, Frankenstorm, Lekima, Crosa, recent typhoons. I didn't just appear on the scene here covering this current Haiyan typhoon. The reason I was even watching background microwave imagery to begin with is because of the previous storms that happened. I put out videos going back through October. We watched storm after storm form out of these pulses, and then follow-up earthquakes, which we'll take issue with in this later on in the video. We're going to respond to each point that this hit piece generates. Now, they start off by calling me a conspiracy theorist. I'd like to point out that my logo is a blown-up pyramid. I do not believe in conspiracies. I believe in either truth or lie, and we prove one or the other. We go where it leads us. Sometimes conspiracies are true. Sometimes conspiracies are false. There's so many false conspiracies that we spend half our time debunking here online. And that leads me to the person who asked this question to begin with, who's a fellow truther that I call, and it's Montegraph. Of all people, Montegraph raised the question first. That's why I made the video to begin with. He asked, is this possible? Was the typhoon created? This led me to go look and see. I'd been watching previously, and of course, there it is. forming at the same time that the typhoon starts, the microwave pulse happens and the rotation begins. If that was just one time, I'd say okay. But below the video, I've provided proof. 7 previous storms. 7. All the previous typhoons that have just recently struck, Crosa, Francisco, Wipfa, Lekima, those storms came out of microwave pulses. We've documented it. It's undeniable. Everything I'm getting ready to show to you in this video is backed up by peer review. We can go and look at the American Meteorological Society conferences, the U.S. Navy lab experiments, the laboratory experiments shown on the Weather Channel, microwaves producing rotation, vortex rotation, creating tornadoes in the video is what they're talking about. This is so well documented, I'm going to take you through it and prove it point by point. First, you have to hear what they say. Okay? So we're going to play their whole video first. It's 13 minutes long. It's a lot of propaganda about me personally that's not true. They say they don't know who I am. They say they don't know who I am and that I'm anonymous. No, I'm not anonymous. I'm right out here. You can just search me. I've got a description of who I am on my website. You guys can look me up. There's a lot of BS that comes up, hit pieces that people have written. But just go through that. Go find my description. You can ask somebody. You can ask my 5,000 friends on my personal page, or you can come over to my public page where I have my picture posted, and you can go down through and read my descriptions. Now, I've issued my response officially in text to the scientist already here on my page. Okay? And this should answer some questions to Monty, Montegraph here, who asked the question to begin with. I hope this answers everything, Monty. All the links that I provided. And when I say I provided links, look, I provided links. And we're not talking my own research. We're talking backed up, peer-reviewed papers, documented laboratory experiments, etc. It's almost like the scientist just overlooked all that. He even said that earthquakes aren't related to frequency. Now, we're going to go through that later. First, like I said, let's listen to their response. Okay, guys? Much love. Thanks for hanging in there. And this video, like I said, it's going to be pretty long. Cheers.
Conspiracy theorists are at it again. Netizens have mixed reactions on a YouTube video which claims that Typhoon Yolanda was man-made. The speaker in the video, who introduced himself as Dutchsinse, said microwave pulses from radar installations triggered the typhoon. Here are excerpts from that video.
A lot of people are asking me if I think that this current storm that's hitting the Philippines is man-made or being controlled. And I'm going to have to respond with a confident yes. Again, a confident yes that these storms are being man-made and possibly fully controlled on their paths to where their final destinations are. Here is the current storm, for instance, the strongest storm to ever form, according to several mainstream media outlets. The strongest storm to ever form just hit the Philippines with 195 mile an hour sustained winds and 235 mile per hour gusts. Now they call it over there Yolanda, the name of the storm, and we are calling it Haiyan. I think that's the designation from NOAA. So here's the storm that's currently hitting, and you can see it's just barreling across there. Well, we can follow this back, okay? You can follow this storm's formation back over here, okay? And what we've seen several times is out here near Guam, of all places, we see a large microwave spiral-shaped pulse that comes from the north and then extends to the south over Guam. Following that, we see rotation begin to develop and form into these cyclones. And it's happened time after time now. It's happened like 4 times.
All right, that is the excerpt of the video. Now, reacting to that video, Project NOAA Executive Director Dr. Mahar Lagmay tweets, the statements were, quote, incredible and illogical. He now joins us on the line to tell us more. Good afternoon, Dr. Lagmay.
Hi, PJ. Good afternoon.
Well, obviously, you've seen the video yourself. As Carmina and I were talking about it earlier, to many who are not as educated in your field may believe it, but is this true? Is there a possibility that a microwave pulse from any ultramagnetic, machine or satellite can trigger anything like that to disturb the weather?
Well, I think those claims that he was giving before he could relate the microwave to the cyclone or to the typhoon that hit the Philippines, he must first demonstrate that the microwave was the one who formed it. From the images that he was showing, it would appear that the typhoon was already developed when he was showing the microwave pulses that were being transmitted. And the second thing that I noticed was that he was also relating the microwave pulses with the occurrence of earthquakes. And what we know about earthquakes is that they form because of the accumulation of energy due to Earth movement, and through time, this energy is accumulated along faults. And it does not at all relate to any type of microwave that he was referring to.
Okay, I'm going to leave that right there because there's a whole lot of video for you to go. But what you'll hear is this Dr. Mahar Lagmay is an absolutely uninformed NOAA scientist. Uninformed, because everything that Dutchsinse says is backed up. Backed up, as he said, peer-reviewed article. Go look at it, read the information, listen to the video, watch the videos, listen to the audio, and you will understand in a short period of time. Certainly by the end of this video itself, which is an hour and 16 minutes long, by the end of this video, you will have seen a great smackdown, okay, in which Dutchsinse smacks down Dr. Lagmay, and he smacks him down with information. Information backing up everything he says. So we got shills out there of all kinds, and when you have researchers like Dutchsinse that pop up and they present information as he's been doing for so many years, those who are uninformed or those who shill for the government, they do what they can to try to get you to believe otherwise. So check out this video. It's well worth your time, and you'll hear every response to counter everything this Dr. Lagmay says, and by the end of it you'll realize that Dr. Lagmay doesn't understand the science that he's trying to defend. Doesn't understand it at all, but he's trying to defend it. Okay? There you go. That's that. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right. Thank you very much, Dirk. Today I have 7 stories for us. First story comes to us from Colombia. It says UFO Armada over Colombia leaves thousands of people in awe. All right, there's our objects in question. You can see there's a whole bunch of them, 2, 4, 6, 7 of them right there. The city of Pereira is located 250 kilometers from the capital of Colombia. The armada of UFO orbs was seen last week and caught the whole city by surprise. There are orbs not often seen, but when they are, it seems that the UFOs are certainly not shy in trying to hide. Sure, you can amass the flight pattern of the craft to be sure, and that there are UFOs we need to establish contact in some way. If you get a green laser pen and hit the object for a split second, if it flashes back within 3 to 5 seconds, then it's a UFO. Lasers only work at night because you need to see the beam to aim. This is from my personal experience, which blew me away a few years back. Don't leave it on the UFO too long. You don't want to blind them. Ba-dum-bum. Alright, here's the image. Look at all those in the sky. Whole lot of UFOs. Okay. More people are seeing them. Not just something made up. Going from Colombia, we're going to go to the Netherlands. Here we have footage of a bright unidentified flying object flying across Netherlands, above Amsterdam in Netherlands. This was taken on Friday the 8th. Video itself is 2 minutes and 38 seconds in length. Alright. And this one, you can see them right here. When you blow the screen up and enlarge it, you'll be able to see them much clearer. Okay. Again, multiple UFOs in this image. Then we have multiple UFOs above Tomball, Texas. Says witness says we can't explain this, but at 8:28 p.m. Central Standard Time, my husband and I saw this in the sky over an entrance to our neighborhood. I'm facing west towards southwest Tomball, Texas. Houston Airport is located southwest where I'm standing. We do have a, see the object up there? Right there. It says we do have a private jet airport located southwest where I'm standing. There are two videos. One is 10 seconds long and one that is 4 seconds long, both taken with my iPhone. Okay, so again, there's the object in question right here. And that is what this is referring to. Okay, let's move from Texas. Let's jump over to California, Southgate, Los Angeles, California. This was on the 10th. This daytime footage of a bright unidentified flying object hovering in the sky above Hollydale Park in Southgate, LA. This was on the 10th, and you see it right there in the middle. Okay, it's right here down this part of the screen. Again, if you enlarge the screen, you're certainly going to see it much better. Okay, let's move on from here to our next sighting, and this one takes place over Germany. This was on the 11th, and this time it says there were two videos recorded in the night sky above Bayern, Germany on Monday the 11th. Look at those. Look how many there are there. A whole grouping again. Okay, so this is several videos in a row now where you have seen multiple UFOs. They're out in formation. There's one. Look how fast that one's moving along. Okay. Now next we have a giant glowing UFO near the ISS space station. This was on the 12th. This is what the object looks like. There's a link to the camera. It says I was looking at the IIS live feed and captured this large unusual UFO near the IIS. I would estimate its size is about 500 meters away from the IIS and could easily be as large as the space station itself. The simple fact that this glowing UFO was visible so long, over 1 minute, and then vanished behind the IIS shows us that the object is between the Earth and the space station and is not a reflection of the window of the ISS. This confirms without a doubt that something was out there. Okay, so sorry for my computer cursor circling the object, but I was excited. At the end of the video I put a close-up of the UFO. There seems to have been 4 round glowing parts to it. The ISS was on the dark side of the Earth, and the UFO is between the ISS and the Earth. The astronauts were actually talking just 2 minutes before and after, but it was about the air conditioning and the ISS and how to fix the unit, so I didn't want to bore the viewers with that long wait. Alright, we're going to get right into it here. This is 4 minutes. It says we're going to jump to the 1 minute mark here. And coming up we're going to see the object in question, and right about now is when we're going to start seeing things. There we go, up in the upper right there, see it? Okay, it sort of has that little reddish color up there. Okay, there you go, up by the space station. And one more report, and this one is also up by the, it says 2 UFOs seen at space station during Olympic torch ceremony. Right. This was from just the 9th. So the first UFO video, UFO in the video is at 35 seconds into it and moves upward so fast we'll probably miss it unless you put it on pause. This is what the object looks like. Second appears at the 55 second, about the same location as the first, upper middle of the video. The one is moving slower and easily viewed. The Olympic torch was being carried outside of the ISS during a spacewalk. To carry on the age-old tradition of running with it, the astronauts moved around the space station, handing it to one another to symbolize that the games unite the countries of the world, if only for a brief moment. Amazing and the first-time spectacle, the Olympic torch in space may have been more than just other countries of the Earth. NASA may have done it for our alien friends that, like watching the ISS and Earth, I believe the NASA wanted them to be included by taking the torch into space and allowing them to see it up close. Maybe in a few more Olympics, the torch will be passed from ISS to an alien vessel. And of course, we have some video of this. So go to the 35-second mark, where the first one goes by really fast. Okay, and the second one was, what was it, 55-second mark? Just coming up here now. Okay. There we go. You can see, is that it right back there? I think this is it right in the back here. Alright, so the video link's available so you can check it out. But that is our UFO news for today. I have a lot more information coming up, so don't go too far. I will be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
Alright, continuing on. So this next story has to do with something that's going on in the world today and tomorrow. Actually, not the world, the United States of America. This is the Grid X2 drill. Okay? So just to remind you, it says power grid shutdown exercise is scheduled for today the 13th and tomorrow the 14th. Power grid vulnerabilities are finally garnering some attention by government officials during a full-scale disaster exercise November 13th and 14th, 2013. An electrical grid joint drill simulation is being planned in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Thousands of utility workers, FBI agents, and anti-terrorism experts, governmental agencies, and more than 150 private businesses are involved in the November power grid drill. The downed power grid simulation will reportedly focus on both physical and cyber attacks. The antiquated electrical system in the United States has been one of the most neglected pieces of integral infrastructure. The EMP Commission created by Congress released a report in 2008 calling for increased planning and testing and a stockpiling of needed repair items. The SHIELD Act, which is stalled in Congress, is the first serious piece of legislation in so many years to attempt to address the vulnerabilities of the power grid. As previously reported by Off the Grid News, a recent American Society of Civil Engineers reportedly gave the power grid a D+ when grading various pieces of infrastructure and public services in the United States. The disaster drill is being described as a crisis practice unlike anything the real power grid has ever experienced. The Grid X drill, November 13th and 14th, will focus primarily on how government will react if the electrical grid fails and, for instance, the food supply chain collapses. American utility companies are responsible for running approximately 5,800 power plants and about 450,000 high-voltage transmission lines controlled by various devices, which have been put into place over the past decades. Some of the utility companies which oversee the power and grid reportedly use anti-computer protocols, which are probably safe from cyber hackers, the New York Times reported. The Times said experts call the power grid the nation's glass jaw. Even the military gets 99% of its power the same way. Everyday citizens get it from commercially run companies. If an adversary lands a knockout blow, experts fear it could black out vast areas of the continent for weeks, interrupt supplies of water, gasoline, diesel, fuel, fresh food, shut down communications, and create disruptions of a scale that was only hinted at by Hurricane Sandy and the attacks of September 11th. Okay, you can see there's much more to the article. So, be aware of that exercise. If you have any sort of power situations going on today or tomorrow, just be aware that they're doing an exercise. Also, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to make sure you have supplies around, water, food, things like that, just toilet paper, things in case this does go into something more than just an exercise. Remember, the unfortunate thing that happens here in this country when exercises occur is many times these exercises go live. So we'll see what happens with this one. Hopefully, everything's going to be okay and there's not going to be any problems. But We know how our government is. We know how shady they've been these days. Can't trust what they're doing, so we really need to pay attention and be on guard, take care of ourselves and each other. Now here's an interesting article. It says that the author of the Patriot Act goes to European Parliament to admit Congress failed and the NSA is out of control. The author of the Patriot Act, says from the Didn't See That Coming department, it's already strange enough that the author of the Patriot Act, Representative James Sensenbrenner, has come out strongly against the NSA's mass spying and said that James Clapper should be fired and prosecuted, and introduced sweeping new legislation that would significantly curtail NSA activities. If you followed civil liberties issues over the past dozen years or so, Sensenbrenner used to be very much in the camp like folks of Representative Mike Rogers and Senator Dianne Feinstein, seen as carrying water for the intelligence community and industry. The change of heart, even if he claims the original Patriot Act was never meant to allow this stuff, is quite impressive. Even so, it's perhaps even more incredible to see that Sensenbrenner has now gone over to the UE Parliament to admit that the NSA is out of control and needs to be reined in. While it doesn't sound like he got all the way to a complete apology, he appears to have come pretty close, according to Bridget Johnson's write-up at the PJ Tatler. So Sensenbrenner told the EU parliamentarians that Congress knew that the country needed new tools and broader authorities to combat those meant to harm us, but we never intended to allow the National Security Agency to peer indiscriminately into the lives of innocent people all over the world. Sensenbrenner noted that he worked under strict constraints to forge the Patriot Act and get it passed. I firmly believe the Patriot Act saves lives by strengthening the ability of intelligence agencies to track and stop potential terrorists. But in the past few years, the National Security Agency has weakened, misconstrued, and ignored civil liberty protections we drafted into the law, he said, adding that the NSA ignored restrictions painstakingly crafted by lawmakers and assumed a plenary authority we never imagined. Worse, the NSA has cloaked its operation behind such a thick cloud of secrecy that even if the NSA promised reforms, we would lack the ability to verify them. Sensenbrenner said that the constant stream of disclosures about U.S. surveillance since June has surprised and appalled as much as it has the American public and the international allies. Sensenbrenner promised strict oversight from Congress, but also noted that Congress's authority is mostly limited to domestic spying, and that the U.S. government needs to work more closely with foreign governments concerning foreign spying. Given who's saying it, this is a rather startling statement. Okay, but then again, it's great that he is saying this. That's a wonderful thing. But I know that there are many of you watching this show right now that have been saying this kind of thing for a long while. They should have been listening to us, right? There are many people that in the world that are aware of this information. There are many in the United States of America. It's only the people that are watching the mainstream news that aren't quite hip to this idea. They think that George Bush was great and the Patriot Act was to protect us. But many people really know the truth. And one president after another just comes in and they open the door so the next guy can do more damage. Bush signed the Patriot Act. Obama extended it. And then he signed the National Defense Authorization Act. It just keeps getting worse from president to president. They keep closing in the power or the control upon the people because that is their intention. It's not about helping the people. It's like the Obamacare website. There is no intention for that to work. Anybody who is really focused in the IT world on making a e-commerce website in the way they were trying to do should have had no problem doing that. The fact that they don't and then claim that that they don't know how to do it in the way that they're claiming, absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. So there's no other explanation other than intentional hurting the American people. Now, here's a story, quite strange indeed. Google has applied for a patent for a temporary neck tattoo that would emit an electronic signal capable of connecting to a mobile device and working as a lie detector. Motorola Mobility, which is owned by Google, has submitted an application for what is effectively an adhesive device that compromises an electronic skin tattoo capable of being applied to a throat region of the body. While a low percentage of patients will become actual products, the actual intent behind the latest filing appears to be to allow a person to wear the tattoo on their neck while keeping their mobile device in their pocket. The temporary tattoo would transmit the conversation from the individual's mouth to the mobile phone, for example, and could make it easier for them to communicate hands-free. The patient filing suggests the device would be used by security teams working in noisy atmospheres or undercover police who would need to hide their communication devices. Mobile communication devices are often operated in noisy environments, the document states. For example, loud stadiums, busy streets, restaurants, emergency situations can extremely loud and include varying frequencies of acoustic noise. Communication can reasonably be improved and even enhanced with a method and a system for reducing acoustic noise in environments and context. Well, hey, this is exactly the kind of technology we want to make sure that we get into the hands of our police, because they are out to serve the people, to serve and protect. We want to make sure that they have these. Now, you know I'm just kidding, right? But look what they're doing, okay? Again, Big Brother is out there watching. Just pay attention. And you know there's going to be a bunch of people running to get that. A bunch of sheeple are going to run and get in line to get their tattoos because they're going to think they're the coolest thing. Again, the sheeple. But I know that you're watching the show aren't the sheeple out there. But you know lots of sheeple. And they're out there, aren't they? And you know them very well. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, 10 most important satellites orbiting the Earth now. Today, a satellite was involved in your life, whether you checked a weather report, watched Sports Center, or looked for the mom's house on Google Maps. You did something the world that would have been impossible without an automated spacecraft orbiting hundreds of miles above your head. But how many of these satellites do you know by name? Here are the top 10 you need to know because they make modern life possible. Okay. We have the Hubble telescope, taking thousands of breathtaking photos unhindered by the blurring effects of Earth's atmosphere. The Hubble has brought beauty and mystery to space to more people than any other observatory. We have Galaxy 14, which is a communications relay, carries digital TV signals for much of the East Coast. GOES 12, from its high-altitude geosynchronous orbit, GOES 12 keeps a constant watch on the weather conditions in most of North America. The Moon, tides, werewolves, and Apollo programs. Without our natural satellite, we'd have none of these things. And then, of course, there's always that theory that the moon is a man-made object, maybe something like the Death Star that was flown into our system here, and it has a certain effect upon our planet. That's a possibility that is out there. KH-13 is a U.S. spy satellite. It's so secret even the name is probably wrong. GPS 2R11, the U.S. government's Navistar program brought global positioning abilities first into the military and then into the general public. GoldenEye, with the ability to fire an EM pulse that would have wiped out an entire nation's financial records. GoldenEye is typical of fictional satellites and representative of our fears of orbiting weapons. International Space Station, a symbol of the International Space Cooperation and Frontier Outpost in the quest to colonize space. NOAA 17th. Unlike GOES satellites, the NOAA satellites have asynchronous orbits spinning around the globe and spotting and developing weather patterns that affect billions of people. And NASA and U.S. Geological Survey teamed up for Landsat 7. Okay, there's more out there, but these are the top 10, where they are, how they're moving around, that you might want to know. Now, at the Vatican, so they're going to display the remains of St. Peter to the public for the first time. His soul may be waiting at the gates of heaven, but his bones of St. Peter will be on display for the first time ever later this month at the basilica that bears his name, according to the Vatican. The beloved saint's remains, discovered during excavations of the necropolis under St. Peter's Basilica in the 40s, have stayed below ground and out of public view since their discovery, and since Pope Paul VI vouched for their authenticity in the 1960s. But top Vatican official, Archbishop Rino Fiscella, who is president of the Pontifical Council for Promoting New Evangelization, made the announcement in Monday's La Osservatore Romano, part of News.va, the official Vatican network. Catholic making pilgrimage to St. Peter's tomb to mark the end of the year of faith will enjoy the exposition of relics traditionally recognized as those of the apostle who gave his life for the Lord on the spot, says Fischella. The unveiling, planned for November 24th, marks the first time St. Peter's remains, discovered in the 40s, will be displayed for public view. Millions of pilgrims visit St. Peter's tomb each year inside the basilica named for him. Peter was the leader of Christ's 12 apostles and the first bishop and pope of the Catholic Church. All right, so that's quite interesting indeed. All right, so every day computer technology is advanced, and every year we see more and more of these advancements in the public and how people are experiencing them in their daily lives and the technology we use. Well, here is something that's quite interesting. I'm sure it'll eventually make its way to the people and into the public, but this is being done at MIT. And you will see the technology that they're using here is pretty interesting. Look at this. Okay, you got the computer monitor here, as you will see behind it. And coming out of this, look at that. We have these computer hands that come out, and they're able to actually move an object around. Now that's pretty amazing, don't you think? Look at that. Let me just zip ahead a little bit. There's something else. Look at that. All these things this guy is doing, sitting there, you can see he's doing it live, and as he's doing it, the way things are. But that is pretty fascinating. Alright, and here's... Okay, so pretty fascinating. I'm going to leave that for you to check out the rest of the video. I want to continue on. Technology certainly moving ahead. I mean, the things we've seen in movies will eventually make themselves into reality. Now, karma. Karma is the law of what we do and put out comes back to us. So this is an article here all about karma, and it says 12 little known laws of karma that will change your life. Well, karma, what is karma? Karma is the Sanskrit word for action. It is the equivalent to Newton's law of every action must have a reaction. When we think, speak, or act, we initiate a force that will react accordingly. This returning force may be modified, changed, or suspended, but most people will not be able to eradicate it. The law of cause and effect is not a punishment, but is wholly for the sake of education or learning. A person may not escape the consequences of his actions, but he will suffer only if he himself has made the condition ripe for his suffering. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, whether the laws are man-made or universal. Stop being afraid, start being empowered in the worlds of karma and reincarnation. Here is what you need to know about karmic laws. First of all, the great law. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is also known as the law of cause and effect. Or whatever you put to the universe is what comes back to us. If what we want is happiness, peace, love, friendship, then we should be happy, peaceful, loving, and a true friend. The law of creation. This is the second one. This is life just doesn't happen. It requires our participation. We are one with the universe, both inside and out. Whatever surrounds us gives us clues to our inner state. Be yourself and surround yourself with what you want to have present in your life. The law of humility. What you refuse to accept will continue for you. If what you see is an enemy or someone with a character trait that we will find will be negative, then we ourselves are not focused on a higher level of existence. The law of growth. Wherever you go, there you are. For us, to grow in spirit is we who must change, and not the people, places, or things around us. The only given we have in our lives is ourselves, and that is the only factor we have control over. When we change who and what we are within our heart, our life follows suit and changes too. Law of responsibility. Whatever there is something wrong in our life, there is something wrong in me. We mirror what surrounds us, and what surrounds us mirrors us. This is a universal truth. We must take responsibility for what is in our life. Even if something, the law of connection, even if something does seem inconsequential, it is very important that it gets done, as everything in the universe is connected. Each step leads to the next, step, and so forth and so on. Someone must do the initial work and get a job done. Neither the first step nor the last are of great significance, as both are needed to accomplish the task. Past, present, future are all connected. The law of focus. You cannot think of two things at the same time. When you focus on a spiritual values, it is possible to have lower thoughts such as greed or anger. 8. The law of giving and hospitality. If you believe something to be true, then something in your life will be called upon to demonstrate that particular truth. Here is where we put the claim that we have learned into actual practice. 9. The law of here and now. Looking backwards to examine what was prevents us from being totally here in the here and now. Old thoughts, old patterns of behavior, old dreams that prevent us from having new ones. 10. The law of change. History repeats itself until we learn the lessons that we need to change our path. 11. The law of patience and reward. All rewards require initial toll. Rewards of lasting value require patient and persistent toll. True joy follows doing what we're supposed to be doing and waiting for the reward to come in on its own time. And 12. The law of significance and inspiration. You get back from something whatever you put into it. The true value for something is a direct result of the energy and intent that is put into it. Every personal contribution is also a contribution to the whole. Lackluster contributions have no input on the whole, nor do they work to diminish it. Loving contributions bring life to and inspire the whole. So those are all very good points dealing with the law of karma that you should know. The more we know, the better we grow. Onward now. This is our message for today. This is the weekly message from Hilarion. Here we go.
Hilarion, November 10th to 17th, 2013.
By Marlene Swetleshoff.
Hilarion.
Beloved ones, you are coming into a time of much accelerated change that will keep the world in a state of alternating and sometimes confusing realities. It is for these times that we have been preparing each of you to always remain calm and in a state of physical, mental, and emotional equilibrium, into moving forward in the mastery of your own coping mechanisms and the abilities and skills that have been honed throughout your spiritual path to becoming a dweller in the higher dimensions. This you are doing magnificently and victoriously, and the results are now beginning to be felt, experienced, and manifested in your individual lives. The importance of a disciplined mind cannot be underestimated as you accept and adapt to the many unexpected events that will keep humanity and their planet riding the waves of transformation. You are moving quickly into the roles that you are each destined to play as the planet aligns with the center of the universe and moves into its new position. Your intent to experience the world you walk on as peaceful, loving, and harmonious will bring these qualities into your field of possibilities. Your days of floundering in the energies of the void, the unknown, are now coming to an end, and as the solar flares and winds erupt with their codes and sacred geometry, your process of remembrance will no longer be denied. You are each coming into your own power, the power of love tempered with the qualities of mercy and compassion. You have all that you need to anchor in the new templates. As humanity rushes headlong into new fields of potential, the world leads the charge to meld with its own magnificent destiny in synchronistic and miraculous movement. That which was once hidden is now being revealed, and a great many puzzle pieces fall into place. There will be no time to rest on your laurels, however, as the times demand the activation of your unique abilities, and greater self-discipline will be necessary to wend your way through this passage into the light. The portals of awakening are lit from within you, and you come into the understanding of the marvelous capacity your own physical body holds for healing and regeneration. Through intent of the highest order, accelerated metamorphosis begins in earnest. Stay balanced in all circumstances and breathe deeply many times each day by filling your lungs to capacity and sending it deeper into your root chakra, holding the breath and then breathing out all that is stagnant energy, to energize your light body which overlights and interpenetrates your bone structure. Send love to all the cells and atoms of your physical vessel, your temple of the Most High. Harmonize, harmonize, harmonize. Remember that wherever you walk, you are blessing, 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 whether your waking consciousness is aware of this, or not. There is an element of excitement and anticipation in the air around you, and the activation of knowledge long hidden within your DNA now lights up your spinal column. The switches are turned on and you can actually visualize these internal switches along your spine and chakra centers, seeing your hand turn on the light switch all the way to the crown. Find suitable mantras to repeat often to help stay focused in your intent to raise the vibration of your thoughts, words, deeds and ultimately your body. Let the joy of each moment bless you constantly as you move about your day. Until next week. I am Hilarion.
Alright, very good. Another very nice message as always. And that brings us to our angel message for today. Our angel message is, click on the angel. The message is, abundance can be yours. Picture it, relax, and imagine it being yours, and then release any negativity to it that we can bring it to you. Okay? Once again, abundance can be yours. Imagine it. Picture, relax, imagine it being yours, then release any negativity to it so that we can bring it to you. Very good, because there's a lot of folks are, wanting to make sure that they have abundance in their lives. They want to bring that energy in, and we simply need to be able to prepare ourselves for that, because that's what allows it in. Okay? So let's jump over to our meditation now. I want you to close your eyes and go ahead and take a deep breath. And exhale. I want you to take another deep breath, and this time, as you take the deep breath, imagine pushing that breath all the way down to the root chakra. Imagine that air going down there. Feel it circulating in that root chakra, the red color, stirring up all of the energies there. Pulling out anything that may be negativity that's stuck in that area, and feel it now as you exhale that energy, exhaling it out into the world where it is released and returned back to love. Take another deep breath, and this time bring the energy and breath all the way down to that second chakra, the orange colored one. Feel the energy cycling around, gathering whatever negativity might be lodged in there, and exhale and release that energy. Take another deep breath. This time bring it down to the solar plexus. See the color yellow. See that energy circling around in there, pulling up any negativity that is there, and exhale that out into the world. And let that negativity be transferred back into love. Take another deep breath. Inhale that energy down into the heart chakra. Imagine the color green. Feel it circling around in there, and then pulling out any excess negativity that might be lodged in there. And exhale that out. That is transferred back into love. Now inhale the energy again. Inhale. Bring the energy down to the throat chakra. Imagine the color blue. Pulling out any residual negativity, and exhale that out. See that energy transferred back into love as it dissipates into the universe. Take another deep breath, and this time bring the energy down to the third eye. Imagine the color violet. Or indigo, I'm sorry, see the color indigo. And as you imagine that color indigo, see any energies being pulled out that are negative, residual energies blocking the chakra, and exhale those out into the world where they are transferred back into love. And finally, the crown chakra. Inhale again. Imagine the energy circling around in that crown chakra. Violet is the color. Pulling any residual negativities out, and exhaling and releasing that energy into the world where it is transferred back into love. And now just feel your whole body filled with this energy of breath that has gone through each chakra. Feel the chakras cleansed as all this residual negative energies that were in the body are released. And upon their release, it allows the opportunity for us to create and fill that space with positivity. So inhale again and imagine inhaling love, positivity, and see that energy go down to the root chakra, to the belly button chakra, orange, just below the rib cage, yellow, to the heart, green, to the throat, blue, to the third eye indigo, and violet to the crown chakra. See your body refilling itself with love and positivity to replace any of the residual negativity that is now gone. And now just think of positive thoughts for you. Think about the things you want to do in your life and recognize that they are all possible. That we use our imagination to create. And as we use our imagination and allow ourselves to be clear in our focus, we are able to create what it is we imagine. Take another deep breath. Feel the energy flowing through your body. Exhale again. And just feel the life that comes from each and every breath you take. And let's just think about our friends, our family. And let's just imagine sending love to each one of them. Love, light. Let's imagine planet Earth surrounded with love and light, protected. Let's imagine all of those residual negative beings upon the planet dissipating, disappearing from existence, where they are returned back to the void, turned into love, to be recycled again. Let us imagine good completely taking over all of the bad upon the planet. And let's see the planet scrubbed clean, sparkling, glowing brightly with love and positivity. And let us just imagine this possibility existing. And let us know that all we have to do is imagine this into existence. And it shall be as we imagine. Let's take one more deep breath. Hold it. And exhale. And just feel the calming effect of that energy flowing through your body. So let our subconscious mind continue on through life, sending out these good vibes, positivity, and love. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment, happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open up your eyes. That's it, my friends. Thank you very much for being here. Just keep your eyes and ears open for any activities that might go on today. Remember, the Grid X drill is going on. We'll see how they're going to simulate this event. But just remain calm, be positive, and that's all we need to do. Alright, I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have an awesome day. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.